of what my presentation will be covering today. So I first identified the problems faced when I interviewed Sam Van Wetter, one of RUP's field organizers, and asked him the question, what do you wish you had? This was one of his responses. The idea of having a physical identifier that identifies one's political affiliations was used as a jumping off point for my research. How RUP currently addresses this problem is through BLOP, short for Big List of People. It's a software created by a politician and organizer in Moab. It harvests voter information from public sources and assigns them a score on how likely they are to support progressive issues. The pain point of BLOP is that it automatically classifies a voter based on party affiliation, even if that isn't an accurate depiction of their politics. How can we relieve partisan identifiers and unite across party lines? As part of my research, I categorized how people are currently using both partisan and nonpartisan identifiers in their daily lives. I then wanted to understand partisanship and how it affects communities in America, and I came across this quote. It highlights the dangers of partisan politics that has emerged that encourages citizens to care more about partisan issues and victories than local issues that affect their communities. Partisanship is also encouraged through our mobile devices. They use algorithms that connect individuals in homophilous networks, basically people that already think, act, and talk like we do. We are less likely to find people online to challenge or diversify our belief systems. This brings me to San Juan County, where RUP began and where my project is focused. Due to its location as representing the boundary of Navajo Nation, the San Juan River has also become a dividing line in the county. The residents of San Juan are not just divided by location only. I gathered some quotes from local news sources to help frame the experience of white members and indigenous members of San Juan County to understand some of the attitudes and sentiments being shared. My research can be summed up by these three observations. San Juan County is deeply divided politically. Racism is alive and well in San Juan County, and there is misunderstanding and a lack of community on both sides. This led me to my opportunity, an identification system for rural communities that includes multiple dimensions of identifiers that promotes connection and community. How can we create a new sense of community through connection? And how will people recognize and identify their connections to others? I'd like to introduce you to the Same County app. Residents of the county will be able to find commonalities in roles, values, hobbies, and opinions on local issues that will decrease division and promote unity. To use the app, a user will create a profile and show their information. The information will be used to discover connections among their fellow county members, which leads them to create new communities. Due to COVID-19, I was unable to achieve in-person interviews, so I used my research of the county to create possible users of the app. Here is Linda and Kimberly, Jim, and Carl. I'd now like to show you a prototype of the app. Okay, can everybody see this? Perfect. So this is the welcome screen when someone first opens the app. The next screens give a brief overview of the purpose of the app. For the purpose of this prototype, I will be using the persona I created, Linda, as the user. Linda is going to create an account. The next step to creating an account is setting your location, since the main purpose of the app is connecting you with people in the same county. Privacy and location settings can be set later. Linda's going to set up her profile by first adding a photo. She's then going to select all the roles that apply to her. So Linda is a parent, a grandparent, and an activist. Linda is then asked to identify her values. She is given the option to take a quiz to help her determine her values or choose from a list. Linda selects choose, and from this list, she chooses creativity, unity, humor, respect, and beauty. Next, Linda is asked to identify her hobbies. Linda's hobbies include gardening, painting, reading, cooking, listening to NPR, and hiking. The final step to setting up a profile is answering a questionnaire where Linda will identify the most important local issues to her. Issues such as the U.S. Postal Service, public lands, health care access, educational attainment, diversification of the economy, clean water, farmland preservation, and mental health services. Here are Linda's results from that questionnaire. Linda has completed setting up her profile and she can view it here. Linda now wants to know what her connections are. If she hovers over each photo, she will see the number of connections she shares. If she clicks the photo, she will then be able to see what Kimberly and her have in common. This is not Kimberly's full profile, just what she shares in common with Linda. She has the option of sending her a friend request, so she goes ahead and does that. She then checks her notifications, and sure enough, Kimberly accepted that friend request. Linda is now going to check out the map section of the app. Linda wants to change her location sharing preferences to just friends only. She then is able to view her map of where she is, and Kimberly pops up nearby. Another aspect of the app will be push notifications that will be sent to the user whenever they are nearby one of their friends that will let them know that they're in close proximity. Okay, now back to here. So basically how it works is a user is out in public, the user will receive a notification that one of their connections is nearby, and then the user is able to locate their connection via the app and possibly start up a conversation. The impact that this will have is that it encourages seeing people different than you, not as other, but as someone with passions, responsibilities, and interests that may be similar to yours. It decreases divisive rhetoric and makes room for conversations about commonalities, and overall helps residents recognize that they are all members of the same county. Thank you so much, and I welcome all of your feedback.